Fires at Russian railway facilities are increasing due to partisan activity in multiple regions, including Bryansk, Rostov, Murmansk, Chechnya, Karachay-Cherkessia, and occupied Crimea and Luhansk region, Ukrainian Main Directorate of Intelligence reports. The partisans continue to strike at Russia's railway logistics. The number of fires at railway infrastructure facilities of the Russian Federation has been increasing each month. According to the Main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, materials containing evidence of partisan activity were published on a platform along with video evidence. According to intelligence data, over the past months there have been fires and other incidents in the Bryansk, Rostov, and Murmansk regions, as well as in Chechnya and the Karachay-Cherkessia Republic. The resistance actions have also affected temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, in Crimea and in Luhansk Oblast. It is emphasized that the coordinated actions of the partisans undermine the Russian military's ability to move equipment and reinforcements, complicate logistics, and reduce the invaders' offensive potential. As Warthog Defense previously reported, in October, the partisans burned a relay cabinet on a section of railway through which weapons and ammunition were supplied to the Svatove grouping of the Russian armed forces. It is noted that such actions complicate the invaders' ability to transport equipment and reinforcements, affecting their operational potential along the respective logistics lines. These events indicate the growing influence of the partisan movement on regional logistics and the enemy's operational capabilities. Ukraine's General Staff has confirmed a successful strike on the RN-2APS oil terminal on Russia's Black Sea coast. The attack ignited storage tanks and damaged critical loading infrastructure, disrupting one of the main export routes for Russian oil products. Satellite imagery and local footage show heavy fire and thick smoke rising from the facility, forcing an emergency response and partial shutdown. This operation continues Ukraine's campaign of precision strikes on Russia's energy network, aimed at undermining the Kremlin's export revenue and its ability to fuel the war effort. The Tuapse hit underscores Kyiv's growing reach and the vulnerability of Russia's strategic coastal assets. Ukrainian border guards from the Aquila drone unit struck Russian shelters, communication antennas, and eliminated at least 2 Russian soldiers on the Kursk and northern Slobozhanshchina axes over the past day. Ukrainian border units are now regularly striking Russian targets across the border in the Kursk, Belgorod, and Bryansk regions. Using drones, artillery, and sabotage teams, they target ammunition depots, radar posts, and troop concentrations that threaten Ukrainian border areas. These precision raids have forced Russia to redeploy forces and strengthen defenses deep inside its own territory. The strikes serve a dual purpose: to disrupt attacks on Sumy and Kharkiv regions, and to send a clear message that no part of Russia's border zone remains safe from Ukrainian reach. President Trump: I think Putin wants to come in, and he wants to trade with us, and he wants to make a lot of money for Russia, and I think that's great. That's what I like.
It is working with Putin, I think. I did different with him because we don't do very much business with Russia, for one thing. You know, he's not like somebody that buys a lot from us because of foolishness. And I think he'd like to be. I think he wants to come in and he wants to trade with us and he wants to make a lot of money for Russia. And I think that's great. That's what I like.
Can you get it done in a couple of months, do you think?
I think we're going to get it done, yeah. I think he really wants to do business with the U.S. But it did work with India, and it did work with Pakistan, and it did work with 60% of those countries.
Turkey's largest oil refineries are scaling back purchases of Russian oil and turning to alternative suppliers, as the latest Western sanctions tighten restrictions on Moscow's exports used to fund its war against Ukraine, Reuters reported. New U.S. restrictions announced on October 22nd target Russia's 2 largest oil firms, Rosneft and Lukoil, along with their subsidiaries. The measures pave the way for secondary sanctions against foreign institutions that handle transactions with those on the blacklist. According to Reuters industry sources, the shift marks a notable change for Turkey, one of the main buyers of Russian oil, alongside India and China. The Sokar Turkey Aegean refinery, owned by Azerbaijan's state oil company, has recently secured 4 shipments of crude from Iraq, Kazakhstan, and other non-Russian producers for December delivery, Reuters reported. These purchases amount to between 77,000 and 129,000 barrels per day, significantly reducing the refinery's intake of Russian oil. Another major Turkish refiner, Tüpraş, is also increasing purchases of non-Russian oil, including Iraqi grades of similar quality to Urals. Rosneft and Lukoil are pillars of Russia's economy. Together they account for nearly half of the country's crude oil exports, around 3.1 million barrels per day, according to Russian estimates. State-controlled Rosneft, led by Igor Sechin, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, produces about 40% of Russia's oil. Lukoil, the country's largest private energy company, accounts for roughly 15% of the national output and 2% of the global production. The new sanctions extend far beyond the parent companies, covering 6 Lukoil subsidiaries and 28 Rosneft enterprises. Among them is Lukoil Western Siberia, which alone accounts for around 40% of the group's hydrocarbon production.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.